I see something wrong. Oh, dude, he's taken out. He's moving out. Okay, we're pretty much set up. I'm gonna get calling here in a minute with the caller. I got it about 75 yards away. Down over there, I put out just a few morsels of tuna for him to smell, and then hopefully we can get him to come in before it gets dark. Temperature has been awesome lately. It's gone up. It's perfect. There's not a lot of wind, which is perfect. There's a lot of good signs here. The big question is, can we get him to come out in light to get some photographs or get some video or something like that? So generally after I make all the racket of putting everything together, I just don't do anything for a little bit. And so I'm basically going to be quiet here for the next 10-20 minutes, and then I'll probably start calling. There's one. He's coming in. I see something wrong. Oh, dude, he's taken out. He's moving out. He is not stopping. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Here he goes. He's stopped. Keeps looking back. that's wildlife photography there. That coyote came in fast, scouted it, seen something it didn't like, and just started bolting. And when you see that look, of them starting to hop away, something's up, something scared them. Either they smelled the scent from me, the device was too loud, maybe they seen that, they just weren't enticed. Alright, we're going to do a wrap up. It's starting to get dark. That being said, we'll talk about the lessons learned here, some of the things I did wrong, and that it's always something, trying new equipment, trying something different. So yeah, we'll let's go back to the house and figure this out. I got about a 45-minute pack up here. Okay, yeah, kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer. It was nice seeing it, you know, that close. You can do everything. Anyway, I'm gonna get out. Let's go over this. Some of the positive things, some of the negative things, and yeah, what I would do differently. So some of the things that worked out, the scouting aspect worked out fine. I found droppings, I found deer carcass with legs being pulled off. When you see those legs and those arms being pulled off in different locations, that's a bigger animal. That's your coyote, maybe a fox, not a raccoon necessarily, or a possum, something bigger. The weather that we were under, there's great forecasting, weather app, paid out well, little wind, rising temperatures when it was been very cool out, and the time of day, use the time of day, that was probably around almost at night, 6:30, 6 o'clock. That was excellent. The call that was used was right on spot. There was a jackrabbit or a rabbit call along with a squeaker call. That worked out. The field was a good spot. I really took that into consideration, a big open field. Now there is some woods and stuff that I bypassed, but it's too hard getting a good shot when you have that many trees in the way, so you got to get them out in the open. The call is the way to do it. So that worked out fine. The planning worked out pretty good. It's the implementation or the execution. So the things that really kind of didn't work out well. Let's talk about the gear. My blind was too small. I had a tripod with an exterior camera pointing out, one on the camera pointing at me, one out there, and an exterior one outside of the blind. 4 cameras. A little too much. The blind was super small, and that was the problem. I only had a little viewpoint, so I couldn't necessarily see around me all that much. All I could see was 75 yards out. And that's an issue because I couldn't get my camera started, couldn't get the gear started up in time. It was literally, they just show up right in front of you. My execution with the call was problematic as well. I had it on when the coyote came in and checked it out. And I really should have just run it a few minutes. Generally, you want to run these calls 15 seconds and then shut it off. Wait 5 or 10 minutes, 15 seconds, shut it off. I ran it too long. And the animal, the coyote came in and looked in that area and knew, you know, with the hearing, and they pretty much know where something's at. And looked in there like, I don't see the rabbit, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And that's when the coyote started just running away, just bolted. So knowing that, you know, the execution, the small blind, I had to fight in moving the camera way off through the viewport. So I was actually pushing the blind and struggling against the side of the blind. That's an issue. And then the weeds. In front of me, their weeds weren't too bad, but to the side, there was a hill that was up. I had a lot of trees, twigs, and weeds in front of me. That just, it made it seem like it was out of focus. Now, granted, some of the things were out of focus. I was struggling with that, struggling with the blind, but also just know when you're shooting through a lot of grass or weeds, it doesn't look right. It looks like it's out of focus, and it's not. Just know that. So I'd pick a little bit of different location and that. What are the things that I would do differently? Okay, you know, micro four thirds kind of keeps popping its ugly head up here because there's a lot of benefits to that. I probably had easily 50, 60 pounds worth of gear with me.
I had 4 cameras, 3 tripods, a blind, and a collar and a hand collar and thermal. Those items in a backpack. Those items are heavy and it takes time to set it up and it makes noise. So if I was going to do this over again, I keep thinking about Micro Four Thirds, you know, the old school of getting a 100 to 300, 100 to 400, like a G9 Panasonic, a ghillie suit. I would take only one, and that would be a lightweight tripod with the M50, M200. Put that next to me, ghillie suit, no chair, no blind, no big tripods, and I would just hand hold, or like what I like to do is brace the camera on my knee, almost in a shooting position with my back against a tree. That way, probably 5 pounds, maybe 10 pounds of gear versus 50 pounds. And I have full mobility moving back and forth. And a very good system that, you know, it's got very good image stabilization that hopefully you can kind of handhold those. Photographs, no problem. The difficult with this is getting the video in addition to the photographs and making it, you know, somewhat less jittery and shaky in that. So I think it's possible. I kind of did it with the deer video a couple weeks ago. That was hand holding a 150 to 600, which was difficult, but a 100 to 300 is like 10 times less weight than that 150 to 600. Knowing that, that's the way I'd roll, that's the way I'd do things, and I would ease into the call a little bit less and give more time to that. So let me know what you guys think, comments, questions, concerns, and that's about it. Hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks, and yeah, let's call it a draw on this episode, right? See you guys.